to another episode of Locked and Loaded, where we keep it locked and loaded with all the information we can get to you about what we know. In most cases, we don't know much, but we're going to sit there and do it. I'm your host, Joseph, and as always, my co host, Javis, over there, always wearing something really cool and interesting. Today is back to the Hufflepuff team, which is the worst team ever, but we
It's the
won't talk about
best team in the world.
it. All
The
right,
most
Jay. So
interesting.
usually you have the topics and you see me fired up today. So I think you automatically know what my topic is. Do you want to guess it before I say it?
It's Power Rangers.
It is Power Rangers. So we generally do two episodes back to back. So this first episode is literally going to be you talking about how much you love it because I am willing to wait about how much you enjoyed it because I don't want to ruin anything for you. But that second show, we're gonna throw down on that second show. So Davis, I will be positive for this whole episode and talk about nothing but positivity for this episode for you. But that next episode, you may want to bring some tissue, just letting you know, because we're going to get into some deep that's going to be going on. So, Javis, talk about it. What did you think?
All right. I'm gonna go in and just to let you know, don't think I have not been preparing. It's not gonna be a one-way street. We will be battling on this second episode, and I've been waiting for it. I've done my research. I'm ready to go. But this first episode, we're gonna be talking to you about Power Rangers Once and Always, which just premiered this past week. If you have not seen it, please go see it. And to give people that didn't like it and people that had take issue with it, um it was definitely, there's definitely some things in it that some people did not like, but I feel like for the core fan base, for those of us that have been waiting for them to do something like this, was it everything that we wanted it to be? No, and there are some clear reasons why. There was a couple people that could not be in it, but number one, I
Oh,
feel.
so spoiler alerts for anything because I'm not gonna filter myself. I What bothers me before you even say any of that, what bothers me is that there was more information about it before I even watched the show, before the show even aired. And I'm like, I'm always getting upset at people spoiling things and not giving someone an opportunity to get out of the room beforehand. So
Yeah.
this is going to be, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. If I want to talk about it, I'm going to talk about it for this episode and the next. Now I'll redo this again, but it's just going to be us talking about it. There may be spoilers in there,
There
but
will be.
it's just is what's going to happen because I'm not going to filter, making sure I don't say something and then
Yeah.
you didn't say spoil. But this is all come 100% spoiled all the way through. Jay was continue.
And just a preface for all of our episodes, there are some YouTubers, there are some people out there that what they'll do is they'll do an entire episode where they try to hold back and just give you a review, and then the next episode, nah. Anything that you see in our description is something that we are talking about in depth about. So if you see the name of something or if you hear us start talking about something, that is your chance to pause it and go watch it so that you can catch up back up with us. But this is, I feel, going into for the core fan base of Power Rangers, I think that this was a love letter to Trini. I felt like at the heart of this special, at the heart of its core, and what sucks about it is the fact that in the middle of making this, Jason David Frank passed away also, because I feel like they would have done more for the Green Ranger as well had they have known that something was going to happen. But you can't predict those things. I feel like in the future, I feel like something that will come, since this is something that has been liked by most of the core fans. That they will do something Green Ranger related, but this was all about Yellow, and this was definitely the Yellow love letter that we all needed, that they should have done a long time before now. They should have done it while, everyone was still there and was still on board, but it didn't happen. But they're making up for it now. And I am extremely excited, extremely happy that they did something like this because number one, it opens up the door for more stuff. Whether you loved it or whether you hated it, the only way they're ever going to get more chances to do stuff like this is if they do it. Now, like I've talked about before, not everything was right, not everything. And when I say right, I don't mean content. when I say right, I mean the graphics could have been better. There was a couple of holes in the story plot, and my biggest and only real critique about this, it was not advertised as much as it should have been. Um, Power Rangers, y'all got all that money, y'all got all them toy sales, y'all got all of that stuff, and y'all couldn't promote this thing. I literally had to go on Netflix and type in Power Rangers once and always for it to pop up. But we got stuff that no one really cares about on the front of the screen that's being featured. And it's just like y'all couldn't have spent that extra dollar to get the front page of Netflix. Now I haven't checked Netflix since I've seen it. And I watched it the first day. So there's a good chance that in between that time, now it's heated up. Now people are checking into it, and maybe there's a chance that it's on the front page. But it should have been on the front page day one. It should have been on the front page 3 days before day one to promote it. So I don't know why that didn't happen. But I really feel like whoever is, I don't even, I think what's the name of that company? Who owns Power Rangers now? Um it's a toy company that owns Power Ranger because they own Transformers too, and we have all been wanting a spin a crossover movie or episode, but whatever. I'm just happy that it is. But whoever that company is, please talk to Netflix because if y'all do any more specials, which I'm really hoping and praying that you do, um, I want everyone to know about it before it hits the airwaves. So
Point, I want to say that it was on mine.
oh, it did
Um,
okay,
and it was on a few days before it even came out. It was showing a trailer for it. And some of
okay.
the shows that I was watching when it ended, it'll like say coming up trailer for Power Rangers. So I think your algorithm, and this is going to be really interesting, your algorithm was telling you that you didn't want to see it. So I mean, it's weird because I'm like, I know you were looking forward to this and you're excited about it, but if you had to type it in and mine just showed up, I didn't have to do anything. It showed up days prior. It had a trailer for after another movie that I watched. That movie had nothing to do with Power Rangers, but it was in my algorithm to actually do that. And I think, have you watched Power Rangers on Netflix before then?
Before, yes. Recently, as in the last 5 to 7 years, probably not. All
Me
of
neither. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious. Maybe there was something that's similar to Power Rangers that I was watching. Maybe I don't know. I watched The Flash a year or two ago, or something else. Maybe something triggered for the Power Rangers to be on there, but I did not have to look for it. Well,
Well,
here's
I
the
know.
funny part: I didn't have to look for it days prior. I didn't have to look for it the day of. When you sent me the text message that it was out and you had watched it, when I went back on there, I had to type it in. Then that's what I find funny.
What?
Yeah,
That's
so
weird.
it's really, really weird. I just wanted to share that so that way
No,
that
thank you.
I'll let you keep going. Go ahead.
No, because now I want to talk about the fact that I know for a fact why it didn't because I last thing I watched on Netflix was Beef. So so Asian dramas, let's see,
Your point. Yeah, yeah.
dramas in general, those were the things that were popping up everywhere on my
Mhm.
Netflix, and so that's the good reason why. But damn, it should have been popping. They should have had enough money to have it pop on everybody's algorithm. Like it was like because whether it's on your algorithm or not, they have a featured top 10. They have a featured and they have a top 10 and they have what's hot and what's trending. And Power Rangers never stops trending, so it should have been on there. So in my opinion, there are people that have come out of the woodwork on YouTube to talk about this special, whether they loved it or they hated it. Everyone's been waiting to watch this.
Mhm.
So I just I don't understand why they didn't get more promotion than they should have gotten. I don't know if it's in the company or whatever, but I mean, but at the same time, I want to give praise to this company because Saban never thought of doing this. I've almost cursed. Saban never thought of doing anything like this. You know, when Nickelodeon had it, they never thought to bring back the old Rangers. Like, I'm like, come on, like, why did I have to wait until I'm freaking 34 to see Zach and Billy to have a conversation about the fact that Billy went freaking missing? Why did I have to wait 34 years for that? I don't understand. Well,
Wait,
I'm sorry,
what?
30 years. Huh?
Say what you said again. I think I misunderstood something.
I said why I shouldn't have had to wait 30 plus years for Billy and Zach to have a conversation about the fact that Billy went missing. and
Did they
and
talk about that in the episode?
yes, at the very end, they brought up the Aqua Rangers and the fact that Delphine misses Billy,
Yeah.
and that's the reason that was the story they made up when Billy was finally done with Power Rangers was the fact that he went to live a life with Delphine on the planet of Aquitar.
Okay.
And so they brought it up. So and that's the other thing about it is the fact that this should have been 8 hours long. I because there's so much that they tried to pack into this episode, and it's to the point where I watched a top 10 list of the things that you probably missed when watching this show. And I went back and I was like, oh, I caught 7 of those, but I didn't get like 2 or 3. Then a Power Ranger super fan just released a video on YouTube, and it is 100 things that you missed that they brought up from the original series. And I said, I gotta see that. I didn't have time to see it at the time, but it's like 20 to 30 minutes long of him going in depth of pictures in the background, images, things over here, and you're just like, yo, they really went in to give us the nostalgia. They were like, we may not ever do another special. We're throwing everything in here, everything that we possibly can. And I do have to give them their credit for doing at least that. I mean, from the fact of the imagery, I do, whether you love the graphics or you hate them, the Zord fighting was a bit off, but the transformation into Power Rangers was really good. I did enjoy the fact that for the first time we got to see them do what a lot of the new Rangers are doing now, which is basically they'll say it's morphin time, they say the name of their Zord, and then they immediately lightning transform into the Power Ranger, as opposed to just going to the back screen with everything and it's like Mastodon. They did do that too, which I love, but some people are just like, okay, I've seen it once, let's get to the point. They showed it. I think that those sequences where they transform right in front of your eyes is equally as cool as when they go into the backdrop. So one of the things that Alpha 8 says, no, sorry, Alpha 9, one of the things that Alpha 9 says in this special is, I never get tired of seeing that. And the fans were rejoicing to hear him say that because we don't either. You can show it to us a million times and we're going to love it every single time. Seeing them transform is incredible. Um, I do also want to bring up some other points that I did not realize until after I saw it the first time because I've seen it like 3 times. One of the other points is Rocky. There was a scene where Rocky does a jump flip kick as a ranger, and Billy comes up and he was like nice flip kick or whatever kick he did. He was like, it looks like you still got it, and he goes, I never lost it. If everyone remembers, that's the same kick that Rocky was trying to do in the Turbo movie where he broke his back. And they brought him back to make him do that kick and successfully complete it on screen. I thought that was incredibly well done. Um, uh, Whether you love the kick or you hated the kick, the fact that they brought that back just to say, hey, Rocky's back, he's fighting again, and he knows how to do this kick. There was kind of a redemption because Rocky has been the butt of many jokes ever since that movie came out because of the fact that he literally almost broke his doggone back doing something he does every day. and had to be replaced by a kid at that. So it's just the little attention to details for that. Them
Or
telling the
to the noodles?
huh?
Was there something to the noodles that he had?
See that
Rocky walked in and he had
he
noodles,
had noodles. I
and
don't know.
later he was bothered because they got rid of his noodles.
That might have been something. See, that might have been one of the 100 things that I
Did you
completely
watch that
missed.
whole 100 thing?
No, I haven't seen.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the only thing I haven't seen. I saw the top 10, and I'm going off of some of the things I didn't know from the top 10. But the top 100, I'm sure I can't wait to see it now because now I'm sure the noodles was a thing.
It
Even
had to be because I was like, why are y'all talking about? Sorry,
no, you're good. You're good.
this is the
And
episode. I can't. I'll talk about it on the next episode. This is all positive. Keep going.
And so then when Kat appeared, she was like, "One minute I'm with the Buddies Incorporated group," and what I forget the name that she was saying, but that name, that's the same foundation that they were helping out in Turbo as well. So they brought back the fact
She
that
said she
she's,
was with JJ helping
yeah, the JJ, yes.
her son
And her son, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. So yeah, she has a son with and I think she has a son with Tommy, right?
with her husband Tommy. Yes,
Yeah, okay. So
they got married.
they got married and so had a kid. And so they brought that back. Everyone was wondering if that storyline they were still going to go with it or were they going to completely botch it now. But no, they're continuing their storyline, which everyone's just like, okay. Everyone, no one has really any. From what I've seen online, no one, everyone's indifferent. They just, no one hates it, but no one loves it. They thought that they might come up with something different, like they split up or something like that.
Yeah, because
Uh,
we always assume it's gonna be Kimberly.
yes, but no, they are still together. But that's the thing about it is the fact that she's the next uh she is the next what do you call that original Pink Ranger. So if anything happens and Kimberly's done, Amy Jo Johnson doesn't want to do the circuits anymore, she's next in line. And she's been doing some of the circuits on her own. And what I mean by circuits is touring with through the cons and things like that. So people have gotten to know her just as much as Amy Jo Johnson. And so even though people would have loved for Amy Jo Johnson to have been in this special, I don't know why she was. You said in the last episode that she wasn't asked, and then I went
They said
online.
she wasn't asked, but when I looked online, looked at some things, they said they offered her the role to be in it, but they did not pay her what she wanted.
Oh, yeah, that makes
And
sense.
so, but as a fan, regardless, I think she should have just taken it because it would have opened up the door for a lot more things to happen. And sometimes you got to take the cut to get further. And I think she should have taken the cut in honor of especially I'm trying to figure out when this was shot compared to when we lost Tommy. So
Mm,
if it was like they were still trying to get her and Tommy passed, she definitely should have done it. But if it was like before and she said no and they've already created the story and script and they were already recording and they were practically done, then that makes sense. But then I'm asking myself, well, then why wasn't Tommy in it? I felt like this was done after Tommy passed, not before. And I
yeah,
felt like the way they did this particular episode, you can tell that it didn't take like months and months to shoot. It was something that was probably done in a matter of a weeks to a month. So, like,
hmm,
let's say, hey, we're going to do the movie, and then they go through a month of training. Then the next month they do the shooting. Then a month later they do all the editing and the graphics and all the stuff like that. And then they're ready to sit there and put it out to air. I think that it kind of happened like that. Can't
yeah,
confirm it because I don't know what it takes to do an episode of Power Rangers, but technically that was probably 3 episodes of Power Rangers in one for
yeah,
the length of time of what that show is. So, and then even still, like the old episodes, the majority of it was like from another country the whole entire time. So they morph, and then it's literally somebody else's show dubbed into English.
yes,
So for this, it was all inclusive of them doing it there. So
yeah,
there may be a lot more things dealing with stunts and choreography and things of that nature to make everything work. So in my opinion, it should have probably taken 3, maybe 4 months to do. I'm thinking a heck of a lot less, but I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. But
yeah,
if that's the case, then in my opinion, it happened after Tommy passed because I could not see him saying no. If they said we're gonna pay you $1, he seems like the type of person that's like, yeah, I'll do it for $1 because this is not for me. This is for the fans, and it's what's needed. But I have no idea what it was between Amy Jo not doing it, whether it was stuff going on with her family, money wasn't enough money, or they never offered it to her. There are so many doggone rumors, but I get the feeling if anyone goes to Awesome Con or any con that she's going to be a part of, she's going to say exactly what happened from her point of view, and then that's how we do it.
yeah. And that's one thing that I would love to ask, and not in a disrespectful way, but just in, and that's what I hope. I hope the fans approach this in a respectful way because we don't know what she's going through. For all we know, it was after Tommy passed, and maybe she just didn't have the heart to do it. Maybe she was still in mourning and she just didn't feel like it was the right time to jump back into that role and not have him be there. So we don't know what she was feeling or what she was going through to make her decide not to do it. Amy has not done it in the past, and she has also come around and been there for fans. I've met her. She's very sweet, very nice to the fans. And so I would love to have her go to a convention and to have that conversation with her um about why she didn't was not there. And I would say those were the big missing links. I have things that I didn't like about it, as do everyone else. But if if Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson were in this special, it would have crushed everything. It would literally, no matter what I didn't like about it, no matter what the fans didn't like about it, nobody would have cared if they were there. But they weren't there. So we have to go with what we have to go with. And I know you have a lot of stuff that you want to wish to speak about, and I'm going to speak about a lot of stuff too. But I did want to ask you a specific question.
Go for it.
Um, and that is, the fans are now saying, I know there's a lot of talk coming up. Um, there's a lot of things that they plan on doing with Power Rangers now. Not it's not Toei Animation. I'm trying to think of the name of that dumb toy company. Hasbro has the rights to Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And so Hasbro has plans on doing a lot with Power Rangers. That's their plan. They've opened up a studio. They're doing all of this stuff. They want movies, they want shows. They're the only ones that have been able to bring back the Rangers in a special that we haven't had. We haven't had Power Rangers specials since they did the Christmas ones in the original series. So they've been the only ones that's been able to do this. So the fact that they were able to do this, I think that whether people loved it or hate it, I think they got a lot of power under their belt, and they got a lot of things that they plan on doing with Power Rangers. And a lot of people are saying that if they do continue with this, because people do want them to continue, if the Power Rangers hand off their powers, the original powers, to a new group of teenagers, people want Mean to be the new Yellow Ranger. Some people are on the fence about it. They're like, I don't know if I believe her as a full Yellow Ranger. So if they do continue with a new series where these older Rangers pass off their powers to a newer generation, do you think Mean should be leading this team?
I don't know about leading the team, but being on the team, yes. She's new to the game and she's still learning, but she is a teenager with bad attitude. Um it's it's a lot to ingest about them making this into an actual series because of all the workarounds they had to do to describe why so many people weren't in it. And there wasn't enough good reasonings behind it to make you get fully vested in. The best part of that whole entire thing that I truly loved was the fact that Billy was trying to bring Zordon back. And he thought for the first time ever that he brought him back and instead brought back someone we would never think would come back, which is Rita.
Yes.
Like, that was magnificent.
Brilliant
That
writing.
it was the writing of letting people know when you dissipate something, it doesn't mean it's gone. It just means it's broken into a lot of parts. And Billy found one particle and thought it was Zordon, but the particle he found was Rita, and he reconstituted that. And Rita herself just went inside the robot and said, I'm going to do some damage. And that's how you lose Alpha 8. I thought that was genius. What would have been
God.
cooler, which I think they kind of missed this, Rita should have kept saying out of nowhere, ay, 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 ay.
Oh my God, that would have been
That
crazy.
was the only thing that would be missing from that whole entire, because
Oh my
he took the
God.
robot over. It don't mean you have full power. And she should have been so powerful, but at the same time, Alpha 8 should have been fighting to retain himself back. And that
Oh
could have
my
been an
God.
amazing story arc. but they
Oh,
that, and I'm like, I don't know why they didn't think of that. I don't know why that wasn't something that was a part of the conversation, because I think that you were kind of touching on a lot of parts of Trini this and Trini that. It made sense. I don't feel it was a tribute to Trini. Um, and that's not none of the negative thing I'm going to even talk about. I think they try to do just by it by letting her be the one that passes away, and that's why she's not in it. But I mean, it worked for why Jason wasn't in it. It worked why Kimberly wasn't in it. It worked why Tommy wasn't in it. And none of them had to die for that to be possible. So, in my opinion, they didn't have to do that for um, the Yellow Ranger either. They could have done something different. It didn't have to be about her dying to save Billy's life or anything like that. It didn't that didn't bode well for me for a storyline. And I think if they had done something like that, they should have put a little more oomph into it instead of it being more like a 5 second situation and she's gone. But Rita, oh my gosh, Rita did not care that she killed a Power Ranger. And we have never seen this side of Rita ever. Rita has always been cruel and Rita has always been mean, but
you're
don't
right about
go
that.
to someone's graveyard and say, how many other ones can I put in the grave? I'm like, dang, this was a kid show, right?
I know.
Did we forget that part?
Yo,
I'm like, either
when she
people
went to
forget. I
mean,
gotta be careful because I'm like, I gotta be careful what I say because this is part of the next episode, and I don't want to spoil any of my frustration or anything like that. But I want
yeah,
to talk about the good part. The Rita story arc is probably one of the best arcs I think Power Rangers in history has ever done.
I agree.
And I'm like, they should have put more into that because that to me was my story. How did you guys get Rita back? We already know about Trini. We already know about all the Power Rangers, but you showed us Rita in a trailer, and we know for a fact that she got healed and she's happy and she's living her best life with
Hmm.
the happy Laura Zed as well. So what happened? How did that happen? And then you show us that, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there's something that's gonna be cool for this. And I'm like, they should have never destroyed Rita. It should have been something where it should have been this whole entire new Rita arc.
Hmm.
And yes, it is Billy's fault because for the first time, Billy made a mistake. Billy doesn't make mistakes. Billy finds that thing to make everything better. He recreated the whole entire what is that center or what is that? What is their place called? Where they all morph and go to? The
Command
command
center.
center. So he did the whole entire command center and rebuilt Zords and did all these things. Billy is that type of awesome. But in his awesomeness, does he ever fail? And I'm like, this is not just a regular failure. Failure. This is an epic failure that put every single Ranger's life in danger, including their families for the first time ever.
Hmm.
Because this Rita wasn't gonna just go for the Power Rangers. This Rita was like, I know how to get the Power Rangers to come out. And so she started attacking people. She didn't do that before. It was always just attacking people in general. And then the Power Rangers were coming to stop it. This time it was like, I'm going to attack the people to get the Rangers to come out.
But here's the thing, they that's another Easter egg. She said she was going to attack the Rangers, right? In the in the what is it? The when Alpha 9 was looking through the areas that she was attacking, they were all areas with the Rangers. Terra Venger, Terra Nova, all of these Lost Galaxy. If you look through the names, they're the names of the towns of every single Power Ranger that has ever been. And when they decided to do the protocol, I forget what they called it, the something protocol, where they were going to bring back Ranger. They were like, I'm checking in with the Ranger. Those names were across the screen too that he was going through. They were all names of different things. A couple of other things I wanted to touch on throughout the positive episode. They brought back Karen Ashley and Johnny Young Brosh, and I'm really excited about that. They were in the video screen, and then at the end they had a little moment with all of the Rangers. But Karen Ashley and Johnny Young Bosch, if you notice the outfits that they wore, they said SPA, I believe. Yes, that is a part of SPD. Yes, they were in one of the SPD ships. And when they brought up, they're like, yeah, so the Terranians, unfortunately, this is a big project. The enemy that Karen Ashley was bringing up is the main enemy in SPD. So the fact that they're still dealing with them is a huge deal. And the fact that they had to bring in Karen Ashley, one of the most powerful Yellow Rangers, and Johnny Young Bosch, one of the most powerful Black Rangers, to deal with them is saying something. Like Joe, like whether you love it or you hate this special, it, they got stories to tell, man, and they opened up so many doors. The fact that they did this one episode, the comic books are gonna go insane. The fact that they did this one episode, the video games are gonna go insane. They opened up the door for so many stories to be told just based off of forming these little or piecing together these holes that were in Power Rangers and bridging the gaps between these Rangers. I want a Karen Ashley and Johnny Young Bosch, Yellow and Black Ranger heading up the SPD team, fighting the Terranians or whatever their names are. That alone is a series, and they just there's so much to bring up. I know we're out of time. The weapons, they brought back the original weapons. Billy killed the new Robo Rita with his Lancer, something he's never done before. He even she might not be Rita might not be upset about killing a ranger, but for the first time, Billy ain't afraid to kill too. So we have they're going into these moments where they're not afraid to do stuff. They talked about the fact that Billy has Cranston Tech. That's his last name. He is the freaking Iron Man of this universe now. And so it's just like they're doing so much, and they have all of these stories to tell, and I just don't want it to end. And that's the biggest thing about Ranger fans right now is the fact that, okay, it wasn't the best. Yes, it could have been better, but you did not open up all these doors to close them all on us now. Now you got to give us more.
I agree with that. And we're going to stop literally right there, pause, and start the next show because we can literally continue from that point on and discuss. So thank you guys for watching. Tune in for the next episode so we can, excuse me, get some other conversation going on about trying to be as polite as I can. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Locked and Loaded.